What's happening, my friends? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miscast hashtag JBT. Trump is in the building. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Mike Masick. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the life and career of Salvador Sanchez. So how's everybody doing this Thursday afternoon? You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock, it's the Box Historian. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box historian. Handing out that boxing history. And yes, today is the life and career of Salvador Sanchez, brought to you by Trump. Okay? And I'm always looking for ideas for shows, historical shows, and profiles you might want on Friday. This one was a request by Trump. It is Friday, right back up on another weekend. Got 2 cards tomorrow that I know of. We got the one from Australia, and we got one from, I believe it's Wales. There's always a fight over there, Wales, England, Northern Ireland, always a fight from over that neck of the woods. So we got Lomachenko, the Matrix, high-tech, Vasil Lomachenko, against low-tech, supposed to be in that fight. It was supposed to be Maxie Hughes because Maxie Hughes beat him, washed him, like 10-2. But it was a fixed fight, and Kambosos got his hand raised because they had already planned Lomachenko versus Kambosos. But Top Rank should have known you cannot plan ahead with a fighter like George Kambosos because he's not that good, okay? And he went and then got beat. So they robbed Maxie, but they did give him a good fight. He fought the guy from Golden Boy, beat him up pretty good at 35. I forget his name. Power puncher. William Cepeda, yeah. He gave Maxie Hughes William Cepeda, in which he would have did the same thing to Kambosos too. So, but Maxie Hughes did beat Kambosos. But we're going to talk about the amazing Salvador Sanchez. I say amazing because the man's career was cut short at 23 years old because of a fatal car accident. And he still got a legendary career in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Arguably the best featherweight ever. One of the greatest Mexican fighters ever. And I always wonder what his career would have been because he got nowhere near his prime. 23 years old. I always wonder what his career would have been if he'd have went into his prime and had a complete career. He would no doubt be the best featherweight ever. Probably be the greatest Mexican fighter ever. He's still thought of as one of them. So we're going to get into that today, deeper. Talk about his life and career. Some of his big fights. He had plenty of them. He started when he was 16. Yep. Got his first title opportunity at, he was like 19. He fought for the Mexican championship at 18, but he lost. Okay. But we're going to get into it. Wait for about 15 more minutes for a few more of my friends to get in here. Like Lonnie Lee, Thomas Hill probably stopped by, Al Booger, Grimo. Yeah. Is everybody ready for the weekend? If you're not ready, you better get ready because it's upon us. Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on the growth because the voice was talking about her yesterday, and she kind of grinds your nerves sometimes because she keeps disrespecting these men despite us calling them out. Now she's calling Ryan Garcia out. Ryan Garcia hit the boat with that left hook and probably would seriously injure her. She probably wouldn't fight again. I'm thinking some guys should just tag her just to shut her mouth up. But she always sparring guys, and she claims that they don't take it easy. They go all out against her, which she knows the guys are taking it easy on her. Because if a guy decked her good and put her down and out, he would get crucified by the press and the public. So, But what they should do is should just stop sparring her. He's gonna, disrespect them and say that kind of nonsense out of her mouth. The guy should just stop sparring. I remember last year some guy dropped her though. Yeah. I didn't hear her talking about that too much though. But she did get dropped. Deservedly. Because she talks too much. Now she's calling out Ryan Garcia. Can you imagine Ryan Garcia catching her with that same left hook he caught Devin with? It would probably end the GOAT's career. So, she just grinds on your nerves sometimes with her mouth. I would love it if some guy clipped her, put her out of her misery. But like I said, he would get crucified, by the public and the press and the media for doing it. But she would deserve it. But salute Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? I just said you was probably on the way. We're going to be talking about Salvador Sanchez's amazing career today, what he did. And that's a 7-year career. He started at 16. Life was cut short at 23. But he did a lot in those 7 years, in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Widely thought of as the best featherweight ever. Came nowhere near his prime. And he was in the fight with Wilfredo Gomez that's widely thought of as the official beginning of the Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry. Yeah, he stopped Gomez in the 8th round. We're going to talk about that. He dropped Gomez just 40 seconds into the fight. And Gomez was heavily favored. He was the more well-known fighter. Salvador Sanchez wasn't that well-known at all at that time, but after that fight, he became a household name. Became an international sensation after that. Because Wilfredo was very well-known, and he was heavily favored coming into that. But Salvador got him out of it. It was a good fight up to the 8th round, though. Gomez had his moment, but it was clearly Salvador's fight. He had both Gomez's eyes swollen. One was swollen almost shut. I believe it was the right one. But we're going to get into it. We got these 2 cards this weekend. Lomachenko is finally making it to Australia to fight Kambosos because remember, it was originally supposed to be Lomachenko instead of Devin, remember? But Lomachenko went to the war, and Devin got the opportunity. You got 2 of them over there, but Loma is finally making it over there. But the same thing's going to happen now that would have happened then. He's going to watch Kambosos. But like I was telling you yesterday, a good bet is a bet that Kambosos wins the 12th round because Loma's going to take it off. He took the 12th off against Tio and Devin when the fight was still in doubt. And he's going to have Kambosos widely beaten by the 12th round. So a good bet is the bet on Kambosos to win the 12th round. Yeah, because Loma's going to take it off. Yeah. This time he can take it off because he'll be winning by that point. Widely. But everybody okay this Friday afternoon? Man, this time is ridiculous the way it's going by. It seemed like I was just here asking everybody how their weekend was. It was Monday, remember? Now it's Friday. Back at another weekend. And they say it goes fast when you get old, but I hear young people talking about how fast time is going. It's crazy. A couple of hours, I'll be back here Monday asking you how was this week. Anybody got any big plans? Me and Miss Cass just gonna sit back and watch the fights. Yeah, Lomachenko and Kambosos is not pay-per-view. Somebody was asking that. That's just ESPN Plus and ESPN. They wouldn't dare put George Kambosos on pay-per-view against anybody. Man, it's definitely not pay-per-view. Remember, him and Devin was just ESPN Plus. ESPN, yeah. But also on that Lomachenko's card, we got a women's championship fight. Nina Hughes versus Shanika Johnson. I believe that's Shanika's first title shot. She's pretty good. Should be a good fight because Nina Hughes is nice too. And we got a women's championship fight on the card in Wales. It's I think it's Jessica McCaskill. Let me pull that up. Jessica McCaskill is putting her belts up against somebody. I did know who it was, but I forgot. But that's tomorrow. As you know, this year is, I think we're going to have 2023 beaten. What we had, what we got coming up. And, you know, like I said, we still got most of August, September, October, November, December. We don't even know what's coming up in those months yet. See, they had the Boots and Cody Crowley kickoff press conference. I was just watching that over there on Jay Hardcore's channel. Yeah. It went off just before I came on. So that's in Philly. I think it's May 28th. Yeah. That's coming up soon. Good to see Boots back in there. He was almost out of the ring for a year, remember, because he fought last in July 2023 against Vila, remember? So yeah. E-Class in the building. Salute E-Class. How are you today? E-Class has become a regular on Cast Sports. So why don't I do this? E-Class. E-Class is now managing moderator on Cast Sports. Congratulations, E-Class. You deserve it. Regular person, always commenting in the chat and stuff, you know. So there you go. Next time you comment, you should be in blue. All right. Yeah, about 5 more minutes. We're gonna get started. I don't like my regulars, like Lonnie Lee's here every day. He gets off at 2:30. I don't think it would be right to start too early and have him miss too much of the show, you know, because he's a big time supporter. That's here all the time, so I wait. Probably get less talk faster than him, but I appreciate everybody that's already in. We got Sportsman's Gas, hashtag JBT, Trump, who today's show is brought to you by Trump, remember. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey, Mike Macy, Al Booker, E-Class. Oh yeah, something new I'm going to be doing too. Remember I said that we're going to be showing Remo's shows on Wednesday that he suggested, but Wednesday is going to become the day where you guys shows that you suggest is going to be on Wednesday. Like this Wednesday coming up, it's going to be a show Al Booker suggested about the judging, scoring criteria, that type of thing. That's going to be Wednesday. What do you by Al Booker? So every Wednesday is going to be a show that's suggested to you. And remember, I take the suggestions for profiles too that I do on Fridays. Because like I said, this Salvador Sanchez was suggested by Thomas Morris. Coach Thomas Morris in the building. What's up, Coach Morris? How are you today, bro? Salvador Sanchez profile. But yeah, just put it in the chat. If you have any kind of suggestion for a show or a profile on a former fighter. I'm doing them on Wednesday. Every Wednesday is going to be a suggestion that one of my supporters make. Or, you know, somebody in the chat. Okay? One of our fellow JBT members. Okay? Every Wednesday, I'll be doing shows that's suggested to me. So Monday is the JBT panel discussion. Tuesday will be a historical show I come up with. Wednesday will be a show that you come up with. Thursday, another one of my historical shows. And Friday is the profile. Okay. A salute to everybody. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. We got 2 big cards coming up. I was supposed to be pulling them up, wasn't I? This weekend. Lomachenko. I think Loma still got it. I think Loma Beats anybody at 135, not named Tank or Shakur Stevens. All those youngsters, I'm picking Lomachenko. Yeah. He'll show you tomorrow. Build a matrix. High-tech Lomachenko versus low-tech Kambosos tomorrow. Should be a washing. Your Loma gonna hang him out to dry. Okay. Tomorrow is the 11th, right? Let's see what's going on with these two cards tomorrow we got coming up. Yeah, Cardiff, Wales. Well, Australia, Lomachenko. Yeah, we got the women's championship fight. Nina Hughes versus Shanika Johnson. That's 10 rounds for Hughes WBA bantamweight title. And of course, Lomachenko. This is for the vacant. The IBF. Yeah, vacant IBF. The Devin Haney drop. One of the Maloney brothers on the card. So this is right, Australia on the card. Andrew, because the other Maloney brother lost Tuesday, lost his belt. But he almost pulled it out that last round. 5 more seconds, he would have had it because that guy was ready to drop when that bell sounded. The Japanese kid, yes, he was. All right. Oh, Thomas Morris put a whole year's worth of stuff in there. Barbados Joe Walcott was the fighter. Jersey Joe Walcott named himself after it. Very true. Barbados Jew was 5'2" welterweight who regularly fought middle and light heavyweights, even fought heavyweights. Yeah, that's right, Coach. Jersey Joe got his name from Barbados Joe Walcott. That was his favorite fighter. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, Jersey Joe Walcott. That's so true. I forgot what his real name was, but he named himself, changed his name after Barbados Joe. Yeah, that's right. I'll probably do something on them one of these days, both of them. I did a little thing on Barbados Joe. I hit something. I hope I didn't hide nobody. I don't see it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, both of those guys were good, very good fighters. Jersey Joe was a champion around the 50s. Lost his title to Rocky Marciano. Originally won his title from Jersey Joe. Yeah, and see, people say, well, Rocky Marciano beat some washed-up fighters, but how can you say Jersey Joe was washed up when he was the champion, heavyweight champion at the time Rocky beat him? That's not washed up. How can the heavyweight champion be washed up? Nobody else was beating him, right? It always, irks my nerves. And when Rocky beat Joe Louis was old, but he was the #1 contender. He was on the 8-fight winning streak. And then Archie Moore was old when Rocky beat him. But after Rocky beat him, Archie fought 30 more times and only lost once. So nobody else was beating these guys, right? So yeah. Can't say that. Rocky was just a bad man. Only heavyweight to retire undefeated. Now, Gene Tunney never got beat at heavyweight, but he lost at light heavyweight. So that cancels him out. But yeah, the card from Wales has a women's title fight on that also. It's Justin McCaskill versus Lauren Price for McCaskill's WBA welterweight. The McCaskill fought for the junior welterweight. I think it was earlier this year, but she lost. Okay, but she still had the welterweight title. She was trying to become a 2-division champion, but she was unsuccessful. I haven't really heard of a lot of these guys are guys from that part of the world. The rest of the card, they got a card from over there every weekend. Wales, Ireland. England, yeah, every weekend. So if we don't have any, we can always count on a fight from over there. Yeah, Al Booker, and he named his right hand Suzy Q. You know the man is bad when they name his right hand. Suzy Q, yeah. And Rocky knocked out everybody he fought in title fights. Now, the first one, he went the distance with Ezra Charles. So he gave him a rematch. And then the second time, he knocked him out. So he knocked out everybody he faced in title fights. Yeah. The Rock. Never beaten, 49-0. Small heavyweight, man. Probably would be a cruiserweight now. So we didn't have those big 6'7", 6'8" giants in the heavyweight division back in them days. That's why the cruiserweight division was created for the smaller guys. You know, guys that were the sizes of like a Rocky or Joe Frazier. Because the heavyweights were starting to get bigger and bigger, and they said it wasn't fair for those guys, you know, under 200 fighting those big giants. So they made cruiserweight. And Rocky and Joe Frazier would be cruiserweights nowadays. I think Coach said on the JBT panel discussion one time that Rocky might even been a light heavyweight. Could get down to light heavyweight, yeah. He was a small guy, man. I don't think he ever fought over 200, tell you the truth. Not much. Mike Rim, what's up, Mike Rim? In the building. See, that's why I wait, because my friends are coming. There's Mike Rim. Gunny Lee will be here shortly. It's Friday, the weekend. 2 cards tomorrow. Okay, let's get ready. We're gonna do go straight on into the profile. I'm not even gonna worry about these 2 cards. I don't even know too many people on them. I know Lomachenko, Kambosos, Nina Hughes, and Shanika Johnson, and the 2 women fighting on the Wales card, but not much about anybody else. Lewis Edmondson versus Joel McIntyre. Anybody ever heard of them? Light heavyweights. 8 rounds. So they part of just leaving prospect status, starting to fight 8 rounds. Yeah. Yeah, smash on that like. That like is beautiful, man. Doing great. Yes. Appreciate everybody. We're hitting that appreciation button. That's the like button in the JBT. It's the appreciation button, and I appreciate it. Everybody smashing on it. Okay. Okay, let's get ready to go on Salvador Sanchez. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah. I got a little slide presentation. I'm gonna drop the music down a little. A note. If I can find the volume. There it is. Let's see. About right there. Yeah. Okay. But everybody okay this Friday afternoon? The weekend? We got fights coming up. It's, you know, if the weekend is fight time for us. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. The life and career of Salvador Sanchez. Legendary. Career cut short at 23. Still in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Still thought of as one of the greatest featherweights ever. Still one of the greatest Mexican fighters ever. Got nowhere near his prime. Just think if this man would have went in his prime and had a complete career. It's just scary to imagine what he would have been. Legacy defined in the building. Salute to Legacy defined. We're doing a profile on the life and career of Salvador Sanchez today. Welcome, Legacy Defined. Good to see you. Everybody give a salute to Legacy Defined joining us today for the profile. All right. Okay. Y'all ready? I'm ready. The life and career of Salvador Sanchez. Now, Salvador Sal Sanchez Narvaez, Mexican professional boxer. Okay, he was born in the town of Santiago Tianjistenco, Estrada de Mexico. Okay. Now, he was the WBC and the ring featherweight world champion from 1980 to 1982. Okay. And if his life hadn't been cut short when it was, he probably would have picked up that WBA eventually, because around that time, I didn't see too many people beating Salvador. But anyway, many of his contemporaries, as well as boxing writers, believe that had it not been for his premature death, Sanchez would have gone on to become the greatest featherweight boxer of all time, and still thought of that. Okay, still thought of that. Excuse me. His career was cut short. So if he would have had a complete career, went to his prime, because he was nowhere near his prime at 23 years old, he would no doubt have been the greatest featherweight of all time. Willie Pep and those guys wouldn't have had nothing coming. Okay. Now, Sanchez died on August 12, 1982 in a car accident while driving from Querétaro to St. Louis Potosi. And he is also the uncle of Salvador Sanchez II, who was also a boxer. I don't know too much about him, okay? Now, in 1991, Sanchez was posthumously inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Now, the Ring magazine named both him and Sugar Ray Leonard as co-fighters of the year in 1981, right? We had co-fighters of the year that year, 1981. Okay, I was trying to read the chat. Booger playing bare knuckles. Yeah, bare knuckles would have been told me to turn it down. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, him and Sugar Ray Leonard shared the award in 1981, the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year. And then in 2002, Sanchez was named the 24th greatest fighter of the past 80 years by Ring Magazine. Okay. And again, 24th of the past 80 years, man. And the man only fought till he was 23 years old. Just amazing. I cannot get over if this man would have had a complete career, what he would have accomplished. In 2003, the Ring rated Sanchez number 88 on the list of 100 greatest punchers all time. And he was voted the number 3 featherweight of the 20th century by the Associated Press. Okay, that's number 1 if he had an entire career. I'm sorry. I know I keep saying that, but it just is what it is, man. The man career ended at 23 years old and still getting all these honors like this. In the International Boxing Hall of Fame, has had a legendary career for 7 years, 16 to 23. That's as far as he went in his career. Crazy. Now let's look at his early life, okay? He was born, his father was Felipe Sanchez, and his mother was named Maria Luisa Narvaez, okay? So let's get into his professional career. All right. Excuse me. I gotta take a drink. Can't get my throat clear. Okay. Professional career. Now, he started his professional career when he was 16 years old. You know, still a teenager. He had a very brief amateur career, okay? It's reported that he only had 4 amateur fights. You know, I'm not sure about that, but that's what's reported. Very brief amateur career, okay? And he started piling up wins immediately against tough Mexican opposition, you know, when he was very young. Started piling up fights, fighting down there in Mexico, you know, like every week. Just started piling up wins real fast. Because in the 7 years, he had like 46 total fights, okay? Now, his first fight of note came in his 19th fight, okay? And that was against this guy. Antonio Becerra was the number 2 ranked Mexican fighter at that time. Okay. Now, this fight was in Becerra proved to experience for Sanchez, by the way. But this fight was on September 9th, 1977 in Mazatlan, Mexico, which is the hometown of Becerra, okay? And it was for the vacant Mexican bantamweight championship. Now, Salvador came in highly regarded, and undefeated. He was 18 years old at the time. Okay, and his record was 18-0 with 17 knockouts. Only one man he went the distance with. Okay, in his first 2 years of fighting, he had 18 fights. He'd only been fighting like 2 years. I told you, fighting every week down in Mexico. But he was ranked. He was the #1 Mexican bantamweight coming into that fight. Now, Becerra, he was only 21. Okay, and he was a straightforward brawler. And he was ranked as the #2 Mexican bantamweight. He came into the fight with a record of 25 wins, 2 losses, 17 knockouts. Like I said, the fight was held in Mazatlan, which was Antonio Becerra's hometown. And Mazatlan is on the central west coast of Mexico. Now, what Becerra did to Sanchez, he backed him into the ropes, pinned him on the rope, and banged away at his body for the entire fight. You know, Becerra prevented Sanchez from using his great ring movement and superior boxing skills. Becerra dominated many of the rounds with crisper punches and was clearly the stronger boxer between the two. And Salvador faded down the stretch. You know, that was the result of the constant pressure and body work that Becerra was doing to him. And Becerra won a 12-round split decision. Now, based on reports from those who witnessed the fight, there were some who had questioned Salvador's heart, okay? Because he was in survival mode in several of the rounds and was unwilling to exchange with Becerra when the fight got difficult. Now, the general consensus was Becerra cut off the ring and prevented young Sanchez from using his great movement and smart counterpunching skills. Now, most people in attendance felt that there was a difference in the fight, okay? Actually, Sanchez didn't have great movement and smart counter-punching skills early in his career. You know, I watched it yesterday, and the way I saw it was Becerra was able to consistently keep Sanchez on the ropes, banging away at his body. And that caused Sanchez to fade in the late rounds. And Becerra was able to outwork and outscore him in the championship rounds. And that's what led to Becerra getting the win in that fight. That's the way I saw it. But anyway, that was his first and only loss of his entire career. That fight right there was. Okay? But after that fight, he kept on fighting. And, you know, that was at bantamweight. So he moved up to featherweight after a few more fights. And soon he had beaten people like the Puerto Rican featherweight champion, Felix Trinidad Sr., not Tito, Felix Sr., okay? Yeah, Felix Sr. Or your favorite Suzy Q, Alberga? Yeah, he beat Felix Trinidad Sr., Tito's father. And that was on his way to securing a title shot against the featherweight champion, Danny Little Red Lopez. There's Danny Little Red right there. Now, Danny was a popular TV fighter of the late 1970s. He was an impressive fighter, and he had won some spectacular fights against the likes of former world champion David Cote twice, Juan Malvarez, and Mike Ayala. And Lopez came into the fight confident and hard to beat. But by that time, Sanchez was 21. Okay? Now against Little Red Lopez, that's where he took his first title. And he stopped Lopez in 13 rounds in Phoenix, Arizona. And that fight was on February 2nd, 1980. Okay? Then, his first title defense was against Ruben Castillo. Okay? There's Ruben Castillo. And Castillo came into the fight, step 47-1. Now, he came into the fight 47-1 against Salvador. And thinking it was just a case of beginner's luck, he beat Castillo. Then, Little Red Lopez was thinking that it was a case of beginner's luck when Sanchez beat him. He looked for a rematch. And he got his rematch. And this time, Sanchez, the fights were very similar. Sanchez won the second fight by 14th round TKO. Remember, he stopped him in the first fight in the 13th round. Second fight, he got him in the 14th round. Okay? His next title defense was against Patrick Ford. Patrick Ford. And this fight was, Patrick was from Guyana. And he was credited for paving the way for the Guyana professional boxers that followed him. And him and Sanchez fought on September 13th, 1980 in San Antonio, Texas, at the Freeman Coliseum. Sanchez retained his WBA title via a tough 15-round majority decision over Ford. So it turned out to be a good fight. Okay. Ford acquitted himself very well in that fight. Lost my place. There we go. We're back. So after Ford went up against Juan Laporte. Okay? With Juan Laporte. He was next. Now let's talk about that fight. Juan Laporte. Okay? Against Salvador Sanchez. D for the win in the building. What's up, D for the win? How are you today? Talking about Salvador Sanchez today. Up to his fight with, he lost after he'd been fighting for about 2 years, but then he never lost again after that. Now against Juan Laporte, this fight was on December 13th, 1980 in El Paso, Texas. Laporte was a mandatory challenger, meaning that Sanchez had to defend his WBC title against him, or he could be stripped of the World Championship. Now, on the night of the fight, a decisively pro-Sanchez crowd filled the county coliseum, okay, in El Paso. And the fight was televised live on ABC. Now, Laporte came in as the underdog, right? He pressured Sanchez into a touring pace early in the fight. And the two fighters traded punches toe-to-toe for most of the fight. But Sanchez used his experience to his advantage. But the less experienced Laporte kept firing back at him. And by the late rounds, Sanchez was taking control of the fight, repeatedly rocking Laporte with shots to the head. But Laporte was game, and he kept fighting back. Okay? And by the end of round 15, they had the crowd on their feet cheering wildly, because also Sanchez had clearly taken control of the fight. Laporte was still firing back at him. and the fight ended with the fighters going toe-to-toe. Sanchez retains his title by unanimous decision, but it was a good scrap between those two guys. Juan Laporte. Okay. Now, okay. Keep losing my place. That was Juan Laporte. Okay, after Juan Laporte, Roberto Castanon was his next fighter. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more in the building. What's up, Bruce Gas? How are you today? Talking about Salvador Sanchez this afternoon. And after Laporte was Roberto Castanon. That's Roberto right there. Now, this fight took place on March 22nd, 1981 at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Sanchez stopped Castanon in round 10 of a scheduled 15 rounds. He retained his WBC featherweight strap. Okay. Okay. Okay, I keep losing my place. Oh, wait. Excuse me for one moment. Oh, there we go. Lord, I have to get way back there, man. Bear with me for a second. There we go. After Castanon, he went up against Nicky Perez. Nicky Perez came into this fight at 50-3. Okay? 50-3. That's Nicky on the right. Okay. Now, this fight took place on July 11th, 1981 at Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, California. Referee Tony Perez stopped the fight in the 10th round, giving Sanchez a technical knockout victory. He retained his title over Nicky Perez. Okay. Then was the fight with Wilfredo Gomez, and that was a good one there. Wilfredo Gomez. Yeah, that was the fight that I always talk about, and that was thought to be for the official beginning of the Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry. Okay, let's talk about that one. Salvador Sanchez versus Wilfredo Gomez. They call it the Battle of the Little Giants. Okay. Now, Sanchez came into the fight with a record of 40 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, 30 knockouts. Gomez came in at 32-0, 1 draw, 100% knockout rate, 32 knockouts. Okay. Now, Gomez was the more well-known of the two fighters, and he was a very strong favorite to win the fight. Now, Sanchez surprised almost everyone by dropping Gomez just 40 seconds into the first round. Okay? Now, Gomez got up, but he was battered around the ring for the remainder of the round and nearly got dropped again before the round ended. Okay? Now, the second round didn't go much better for Gomez, but he began to have some success in the third round and had his moment over the next few rounds, continuously going forward and throwing combinations in an attempt to turn the fight in his favor. However, Gomez's right eye had started to swell by the third round and was nearly closed by the seventh. And Sanchez started zeroing in on that area and landed a number of hard shots that repeatedly rocked Gomez, right? Now, Gomez finally landed the combination that he had been looking for in the seventh round. A right-left to the chin that partially lifted Sanchez off his feet. But Sanchez was able to shake it off and move away from the corner without further trouble. Now, round 8 proved to be the final round, with Gomez almost blinded by swollen. Now, both of his eyes were swollen by that point. He was almost blinded, and the Mexican partisans was on their feet shelling "Ole" with every volley of punches that Sanchez landed on him. And finally, Sanchez landed a straight right hand that had Gomez teetering, badly hurt on the ropes. And then another series of punches almost knocked him through the ropes. Now, Gomez made it out of the 8th round, okay? He beat the count. But the referee stepped in. Well, he didn't make it out of the 8th round. He beat the count, okay? He got up. But referee Carlos Padilla stepped in and stopped it at that point, okay? Because Gomez really was getting battered by this. And Sanchez won the unofficial beginning of the Puerto Rico-Mexico rivalry. Flawless mentality in the building. What's up, Flawless mentality? That's Flawless mentality and Black excellence, hosted by Dr. Mark. Salute. Great to see you this afternoon. We just had we do profiles on Friday. Today it's on Salvador Sanchez. He just finished beating Wilfredo Gomez, okay? So, and then, yeah. Gomez, after that fight, he had went up in weight to challenge Sanchez, but after that fight, he went back down to the junior featherweight division where he had been, okay? And now, after that fight, Salvador Sanchez became well known because he wasn't known that well before that fight, but Gomez was. Gomez was the most well known of the two. And in Mexico, a new hero was born, a new legend, really, because Sanchez had, in their eyes, avenged the loss that Gomez had inflicted on Mexican Carlos Zarate some years before. And after that fight, Sanchez became recognized by many Mexicans and international fans as Mexico's greatest world champion. Yes, he did. Okay. So after that's when he became known by the casuals and everything after that fight. But after that fight, he fought a guy by the name of Pat Caldell. Okay. Pat Caldell. Okay. And Caldell, gotta make sure I don't lose my place this time. Okay. Where are you, Pat Caldell? There we go. This fight was on December 12th, 1981. And it was at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Now, Sanchez versus Caldell was an extremely close fight, okay? Caldell's awkward style gave Sanchez fits throughout the fight. And going into the 15th and final round, the fight was just about even. But Sanchez scored a knockdown in that round, and that's what pulled out the victory for him. But without that knockdown, that fight very well could have been a draw. You know, the judges had it 146, 140, 148, 147 for Sanchez, and 145, 144 for Caldell. Okay. Okay. After Pat Caldell, he fought Rocky Garcia. Okay. Rocky was a little known fighter. But Rocky didn't do too bad in that fight. He really didn't. And Okay, Rocky Caldwell. He beat him by that kept Rocky Garcia. He was the second fight featuring two featherweights ever to be televised by HBO. Okay, the first one was against Caldwell. Now he beat Rocky Garcia punch after punch, but the challenger gave honor to his nickname Rocky. You know, he was an unknown fighter, but he lasted the distance with the world champion Salvador Sanchez. Okay, went the distance with Salvador. Then his next fight after Caldwell, pulled out a decision against Caldwell, was against Azuma Nelson. There's Azuma. Oh, excuse me for 1 minute. Yes, it was, wasn't it, Bruce Gas? Very close fight. A lot of people had that knockdown in the 15th was what won it. A lot of people had it close going into the 15th. Remember? Excuse me for 1 second, please. Just 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back. Appreciate everybody staying. Okay, Azuma Nelson was the next fight. There's Azuma on the screen there. Now I gotta find my place again. Yeah, okay. Now, on July 21st, 1982, Sanchez faced future champion Azuma Nelson at Madison Square Garden. And Nelson was a late substitute in this fight for mandatory challenger Mario Miranda. And Nelson was unknown at the time. However, he was expected to only go a few rounds with Sanchez, right? But it was an intense battle between the two. And Sanchez manages to drop Nelson in the 7th round. After that, they engaged in violent exchange after violent exchange. Turned out to be a very good fight. Nelson wasn't expected to put up nowhere near the fight that he did against Sanchez. In the 15th round, Sanchez finally broke out, okay? He connected with a serious combination that dropped Nelson almost outside the ring. And referee Tony Perez had to stop the fight seconds after that. And Azuma Nelson went on to have a glittering career. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2004. Okay? And Sanchez proved to be a dominant featherweight champion. Yes, he did. He held title defense victories over the next 3 fighters, Laporte, Gomez, and Nelson, who won the WBC title after his death. So yeah, after he had that accident, the next 3 WBC champions was Juan Laporte, Wilfredo Gomez, and Azuma Nelson. And Sanchez beat all three of them. Yeah, Zuma Nelson, that is a good name, ain't it, Al Booger? Subio Pedraza. Sanchez would have been a real, yes, it would have, Trump. Yeah. See, Sanchez probably would have fought all of them if he wouldn't have had that accident, you know. That's the thing, his career was cut short. You know, he missed a lot of fighters that he would have been in there against. And no doubt would have been undisputed because we only had the WBA and WBC at that time, and he had the WBC, but he didn't get the chance to go after the WBA because of the accident. His life was cut short. But no doubt he would have got it from whoever had it. Yeah, that was Tito's father, Trump. Yep. And Salvador went 4-0, all by knockout against fellow members of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Danny Little Red Lopez twice. Stopped him in the 13th round. Then the next time he stopped him in the 14th in the rematch. Wilfredo Gomez stopped him in the 8th round. And Azuma Nelson, 15th round. And he defeated 4 future or former world champions. Again, Danny Little Red Lopez, Wilfredo Gomez, Juan Laporte was future. At the time, Sanchez beat him. And Azuma Nelson was a future world champion at the time Sanchez beat him. Okay? Now his death. We're finishing kind of early too. Now 3 weeks after his victory over Nelson, as he was training for a rematch with Laporte, set for September of that year, Sanchez crashed on the early morning of August 12, 1982, while driving his Porsche 928 sports car, that thing could get up and go to, along the Federal Highway between Querétaro and San Luis Potosi, dying instantly. At the time of his death, there were talks about a fight with Colombian Mario Miranda, or a rematch with Gomez, or a challenge of world lightweight champion Alexis Arguello. Now, the fight with Arguello had already been off the table. There had been negotiations between the Sanchez and Arguello camps, but they broke off when Arguello chose to campaign as a junior welterweight. See, Sanchez was going to go up, but then Arguello went to junior welterweight, and that was like a little out of Sanchez's range there, you know. Okay, Bruce, I sure will. Definitely gonna come check that out. And yeah. That's something else I had to talk to you about, Bruce Gas, about about doing something together sometime. But I'll get with you on that. I'll get with you. But yeah, he was, the talk with Arguello broke off when Arguello went up to junior welterweight, But anyway, all that was off. Sanchez had the accident. But he finished his career with a record of 44 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He was posthumously inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. Yeah. Amazing. 23 years old, man. In the Hall of Fame. Arguably the best featherweight of all time. One of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. Just think if this man would have went all the way up into his prime and up had an entire career, what he would have been. It's scary, And he also did a little acting. Okay? Yeah. He appeared as himself, but he was a junior lightweight. I don't think he ever fought at junior lightweight, did he? I'm not sure. But he appeared in the movie as a junior lightweight world champion, the 1983 film, The Last Fight. It was released after his death. Now, the movie was dedicated to him. In it, Sanchez shared scenes with Ruben Blades, who played a challenger to Sanchez's title. Okay? In personal life, Lonnie Lee, what's up, Lonnie Lee? I didn't even see you come in. Lonnie Lee slipped in the building. What's up, Lonnie? We made it through another week. It's the weekend. Hope everybody have a good one. We got these fights coming up tomorrow. We got a little time. I got this little piece I keep as a backup on the history. It's a nice little piece on history of boxing in the United States. I've done it before, but this is a nice little piece. May go over that. But yeah, he did some acting in his personal life. He had a wife, Maria Teresa, and 2 sons, Christian Salvador and Omar. And he also had a nephew, Salvador Sanchez II, who was a professional boxer. I don't know too much about him. What's up, Joey Fanks? Joey Fanks in the building. Salute to Joey Fanks. Happy Friday to everybody. And there you have it, the life and career of Salvador Sanchez. Next week, the profile will be Sonny Liston. Okay, next Friday, Sonny Liston. Anybody got any profiles or things they want to shows they want to see? Put it in the chat. Okay, put it in the chat. I got this thing. Okay, let me find that. Okay. Yeah, Salvador Sanchez was because his career ended at 23 years old, so he didn't have a long career, so wasn't a long profile. But I got a backup plan. Is everybody okay? High-tech Lomachenko and Neymar against low-tech Kambosos. I think we all know how that's going to end. And somebody asked me what the pay-per-view. No, it's on ESPN Plus. And ESPN, you know how they do it. Yeah. Yeah, Sonny Liston is next week, Trump. Let me get this up for you. Everybody smashing on the appreciation button. This is Cass Sports, your friendly neighborhood box story. Coming through the neighborhood, bringing the boxing history to you. Weekdays, Monday through Friday. 2 p.m. I got a short history of boxing in the United States I want to go over. It's very interesting. Now that Sonny Liston next week is long. I was looking at that thing. Ooh wee. That is crazy long. There we go. Everybody ready for what y'all think? Kambosos got a shot tomorrow against Loma? I don't think so. A short history of boxing in the United States. Now, high tech versus old jalopy, right, Al Booger? I say high tech versus low tech. Yeah, but you got it about right. High tech versus low versus what? Old jalopy. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I didn't mean to make all that noise. Appreciate everybody stopping by today. A short history of boxing in the United States. We'll drop the link, but nobody never hits us though. Now, the sport of boxing has been an integral part of American culture for well over 100 years. But it goes back even further than that. But it's been an integral part of American culture for well over 100 years. Even when the sport experienced low points, when its popularity experienced low points in history, plenty of men and women still took great interest in watching and participating in it, okay? Boxing was never going to disappear, and it never will. The sweet science has catalyzed new interest in many people and has kept many others from going to or returning to prison, right? But there's much more to boxing than just two people hitting each other in the face. It takes a lot of practice to develop agility, quickness, guile, and technique necessary to be successful in the ring. Now, it's said that Irish immigrants introduced boxing to the United States as they migrated to the Northeast throughout the 1860s and 1870s, okay? gaining prominence in cities like New York and Boston during the last quarter of the 19th century. And back then, they was only fighting with bare knuckles, remember? Before the glove era. Now, there were no state-sanctioned bare knuckle fights. Fights were organized and champions were recognized by the popular men's lifestyle magazine, National Police Cassette. Now, in 1867, the first set of codified boxing rules to mandate the use of gloves was established, 1867, in London, England. And those were known as the Queensberry Rules. I went over them before. And they were adopted in the United States about 20 years later, 1889. Okay? Now, John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckles heavyweight champion. And guess what? John L. Sullivan was the first champion in the glove era under the new rules. So John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckles champion, and he was the first glove champion. For the first glove championship, he defeated a guy named James Corbett in 1892. Okay? That was the first glove championship fight, 1892. Won by John L. Sullivan. Okay? Now, as boxing gained more prominence, the AAU, or Amateur Athletic Union, was established on January 21st, 1888. And the AAU held its first event in April of that year, overseeing boxing, fencing, and wrestling competition. Now, in the year 1900, that's when New York State passed the heavily restricted Lewis Law. And the aim of that was to effectively get rid of boxing entirely, right? And the new law effectively banned prize fighting and other fights unless the two competitors belonged to an exclusive athletic club and were held in private venues, okay? But fortunately, the states in the western United States were a lot more lenient and tolerable with allowing boxing matches to take place, which played a major role in keeping the sport alive, okay? The states out west, because in New York, they banned it altogether. But in the western part of the country, they were more lenient, and that's what kept the sport going during that time. And during this era, champions were determined by the popular consensus expressed in newspapers, okay? Now let's go up to the 20s. Boxing in the roaring 20s. Nobody gave Kambosos a shot versus Teo. That's true. Kambosos is not coming to lay down for sure, but there is a clear contrast in talent against the Matrix. That's right, Trump. Yeah. That is 100%. 100%. Yeah. Now, boxing in the roaring 20s. Now, remember that restricted Walker law that banned boxing? No. The Lewis law, excuse me. In 1920, the Walker law came around and established the New York State Athletic Commission and implemented various rules and regulations that were in the best interest of the fighters' safety and to make the sport more palatable towards a broader audience. So boxing returned. Now, this was some of the changes that the Walker law made. They put in 15 rounds. Because remember, before that, a fight ended when one of the fighters couldn't continue. I heard of a fight going 90-something rounds before, okay? So the Walker law put in 15 rounds, ended the no decision era. Because there were no such, before the Walker law, there was no such thing as a decision. Like I said, the fight ended when one fighter couldn't continue, okay? And the longest one I heard was like that 90, I think it was 92 rounds. It was 90-something. Yeah, two guys actually fought for 90-something rounds. Okay. And the new rules also mandated medical personnel to be present for the entire fight. And it banned certain moves, okay, like headbutting, Yeah, you could actually headbutt. You could throw the guy down, all that. But this Walker law banned all that stuff. Then the following year, the National Boxing Association came into existence. And see, the National Boxing Association was what eventually turned into the WBA. Because by the 60s, boxing was getting so international, the National Boxing Association became the World Boxing Association, okay? And originally, the National Boxing Association, or NBA, comprised 13 states. And like I said, the NBA later changed its name to the World Boxing Association, or WBA, in 1962. And it's one of the leading sanctioning bodies in the world. And boxing got real popular because of the new changes. It rose to prominence because around that same time, radio stations began broadcasting fights. And it was typical to see several thousand people in attendance for major events. Jack Dempsey, who was heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926, became a household name. He was known as one of the big five of sports, okay? Along with Babe Ruth from baseball. That's the one I couldn't get the other day. Bill Tilden from tennis. Bobby Jones from golf, and football player Red Grange and boxer Jack Dempsey was the big five of sports. Remember the other day I had four of them? Bill Tilden was the one I left out, the tennis player. Okay. And so boxing was quickly becoming mainstream, and Jack Dempsey had a lot to do with that in the 20s. Boxing was quickly becoming mainstream. Oh, lights are looking beautiful. Ooh. My record is 33. I got 25. 8 more break the record. That'll be beautiful. But anyway, boxing was quickly becoming mainstream in the 20s. And it was starting to be accepted as a legitimate sport in the public eye. That was important. And in 1923, Chicago Tribune sports editor Arch Ward was instrumental in creating the Golden Gloves of America. Right? Now, the Golden Gloves was initially created for holding competitions between amateur fighters from Chicago and New York, where the sport was most popular in those two cities. But later, it changed its name in 1962 to the National Golden Gloves, and it remains the pinnacle of amateur boxing competition, the Golden Gloves. Now let's go to the 30s. Also, Ring Magazine was started in the 20s too, by Nat Fleischer in 1922, I believe. 1922, I think, yeah. And it started naming fights of the year in 1922, but it didn't start naming fighter of the year until 1928. I don't know why they waited those 6 years for the fight, but it was 1922 now, yeah. I'm positive. Now, boxing in the 1930s, okay? Now, just as the sport started gaining in popularity, it took a major hit after the stock market crash in 1929. The Depression hit. Yeah, remember I talked about that. Just as boxing was getting as popular as it had ever been, the Depression hit. Okay? April 6, 1893 in New Orleans. Woo, 110 rounds, Al Booker. Wow. Over 7 hours and 19 minutes from 9:15 p.m. to 4:34 a.m. I would have just said, you got it. I quit. Whatever. Wonder what happened. Whatever. Who won? Did they both just give up? Yeah, Al Booker said the longest fight was 110 rounds. April 6, 1893, New Orleans. 7 hours. Started at 9:15 p.m. and it didn't end until 4:34 a.m. the next morning. Wow. Good work, Al Booker. Woo, that was a fight there. I would have just gave up. But anyway, yeah, boxing was at the most popular it had ever been. Then the Great Depression hit, okay? Now, as the country went through the Depression, for the rest of the decade of the 30s, professional boxers also experienced massive reduction in payouts due to the crippled economy. However, thanks to a highly competitive heavyweight division, the sport was kept alive by entertaining fighters such as Max Schmeling, Max Baer, and Joe Louis came along in the 30s, remember? Joe Louis became champion in 1937 and held the title until his retirement in 1949. But unfortunately, he came back. Louis is still the only boxer in any weight class to hold a world title for the entirety of a single decade. But remember Ricardo Lopez? Ricardo Lopez had it for the entire 90s except for a few months. And the only reason he didn't have it for those few months because he was champion at 105 from 1990 to 1998. Then in late 98, he dropped the belt to move up to 108, and he won the title there in 99, so he became champion again. But that's the only reason that Joe Louis didn't have company for the entirety of a decade, because Ricardo Lopez dropped his belt. But he was the champion of the entire 90s except for a few months. But technically, Joe Louis is the only one to hold it for an entire decade. Now, boxing in the war-torn 1940s. Now, the world was never the same after Nazi Germany invaded Poland in 1939. And the United States was in shock after the bombing of Pearl Harbor by Japan on December 7th, 1941. And then the country shifted its focus to the war effort. And most title fights during the next 3 years were suspended. And many fighters, including Joe Louis, joined the military and fought in the war. But Joe Louis didn't fight in the war. He was used as a propaganda tool to get other people to join the military at that time, okay? But he did go in the military. Edward Hearn in the building. Edward Hearn, dude, what does it say? Can you please stop with this nerd? Okay, Edward Hearn, have a good day. Bye-bye. See, this ain't the hangout of all them places. You come in here with that nonsense, you're a bye. See you, Eddie. And you should be worrying about these. Ain't that your card tomorrow you promoting, Eddie? You in here talking trash. Get on over there and promote your fights, Eddie. Edward. Okay. Now, what narrative was he talking about anyway that I was stop? He said stop with the narrative. What narrative is he talking about? We talking boxing, Edward. I thought that's why he was in here. What did he mean by that? Stop with the narrative. Anybody explain that? Edward can't explain it, that's for sure. But where was I? Oh man, where was I? Oh, the 40s. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Louis joined the war effort. And most title fights were suspended. Yeah, many fighters, including Louis, joined the military and fought in the war. Yeah. What narrative was he talking about? We talking boxing, right? Is that what everybody's here for? To talk boxing? That's part of that guy I deleted the other day in here under another name. Yeah. Just Simon Webb boxing. But it's the truth. He was used as a propaganda tool. It's in black and white. Okay? It's in black and white. Joe Louis was used as a propaganda tool to get other people to join the military. Right? Anything you hear me say on here, it's been researched and verified. Okay? Joe Louis was used as a propaganda tool during World War II to get other fighters to join the military. Here's Melanie Queen 27. Melanie Queen 27, you should have been a moderator. My bad, I thought you was, but now you are, okay? Melanie Queen 27 is now managing moderator on Cast Sports. Yeah. Send you the receipts. You can go get the receipts from Edward, Simon. Go with him. Bye. Okay. Salute Hardcore Boxing News. How are you today, bro? Just had to delete 2 people. Okay, I don't play. Let's salute Jay Hardcore. How are you today? Yes, Simon. Go get the receipts from Edward. Send him some receipts. Okay, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Okay, yeah. Now television was still in its infancy in the 40s, but the stations took advantage of the low cost it took to broadcast the fight compared to other sports. Okay, now even though there were very few title fights, boxing fans were still entertained by highly competitive 10-round fights, and the sport grew even more popular. Okay, grew even more popular. Everybody smashing on that like button. You're welcome, Melanie Queen. You deserve it. You're here every day. You're always making good comments in the chat, so you deserve the wrench. But you're welcome. Yeah, boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky Graziano, Archie Moore, Jake LaMotta, they soon became stars of the sport. Okay, and you remember the rivalry LaMotta and Robinson had, which is very misleading. They fought because they had 6 fights and Robinson won 5 out of the 6, but they were very competitive fights. You might say, well, Robinson dominated them, but no, it could have very easily been 3-3. Actually, I think it should have been 3-3 because I can think of 2 fights that Jake LaMotta. I know he got robbed in one. I don't know if it was 4 or 5, one of those 2. Yeah. And then the murderous road fighters came along in the 40s. I told you about them. The 8 African-American boxers: Charles Burley, Eddie Booker, Jack Chase, the Coco Kid, Burt Lytell, Lloyd Marshall, Irvin Wade, and Holman Williams were heavily avoided by other prominent boxers of the era, including Sugar Ray Robinson, who ducked Charles Burley. Yes, he did. G-Man Pickle. What's up, G-Man Pickle? How are you, bro? That's what we're here for. Boxing history. I don't know what they was talking about. That's a part of boxing history. What Joe Louis did during World War II is a part of boxing history. Some people are just trolls, man. They go from channel to channel. Then when they get blocked under one name, they invent another one and come right back trolling again. But you invent 100 names, I'm going to block you 100 times. So, but salute, G-Man Pickle. How are you today, bro? Good to see you. Welcome to Cat Sports, the Box Story. Okay. Yeah, we had the Salvador Sanchez profile today, but his career was cut short at 23, so it wasn't that long of a profile, right? So, just a brief history of boxing in the United States right now. And the murderous fighters. They were, a group of black boxers that were heavily avoided. One of them was even avoided by Sugar Ray Robinson, Charlie Burley. And 6 of them never received title shots because of corrupt management and their skin color. And they had to fight each other just to stay active, right? Now, Lloyd Marshall and the Coco Kid, Eddie Booker, and Charles Burley were eventually inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Now, only 2 of them had titles. Yeah, I was watching, Jay. I was in there. I was in your chat. All the pictures were on the Sanchez profile, Jory. I didn't know it was going to run so short. Yeah, I don't have pictures on this stuff here. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to run that short. I always kept this short history as a backup in case it did run short. But the one next week ain't going to run short. I got Sonny Liston next week. That's real long. Yeah, Sonny Liston. But yeah, only 2 of those guys ever had titles. Jack Chase and the other one was what's the other one? Eddie Booker. Booker actually lost his title to Jack Chase. Because remember, they had to fight each other because nobody would fight them. And then we go into the 50s. The country was the golden expansion, the golden age of the economic expansion was taking off. The depression was over and everything. Everything was almost back to normal, going good. And so was boxing. The sport of, the boxing was taking off too. TV was going big at that time, and many boxers who had fought in the war had made their returns to the ring by then, and they were eager to take advantage of the increased paydays. What about by a booming economy and TV, right? Being on television now, fights could go to much more, but many more places since they were on TV. Because remember, they had it on the radio before that, but that was nothing like fights being on the television. Now, fighters and their managers knew the televised fights were the way to make big money and increase the chances of cashing in on endorsement deals, right? That's what I was talking about. Now, it was common for big name fighters to get acting roles and date the hottest Hollywood stars. Yeah, Jack Dempsey married a couple of Hollywood starlets. Yeah, and LaMotta and Robinson fought for the last time in 1951. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But they went on to fight many other people throughout the decade. And both of them, I think, fought into the 60s. I know Sugar Ray did. And I ain't got 30 likes yet. Damn, ain't nobody got no Obama phones they can give me a like on or something? Not your main one. Go get that Obama phone and hit the like button on that one. Or do like them two trolls I just said, make another account. I'm trying to get 30. My record is 33. But yeah, now that's when Rocky Marciano came along, considered by some to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. Rocky Marciano is still the only undefeated champion in history. Retired in 55. 49-0, 43 knockouts, okay? And the golden age of boxing was in full swing, although many of the fights during that era were marred with corruption and mafia influence, okay? Now, boxing in the 1960s. Now, oh, you did? Okay. Damn, I didn't even check, George. Okay. Oh, you saw it in the J. Okay. Now, boxing in the 1960s. In 1962, that was when the NBA changed its name to the World Boxing Association, because boxing was getting so international then, so they had to change from National Boxing Association to World Boxing Association. Okay, that was the reasoning for that. And 11 boxing representatives from other countries met in Mexico on Valentine's Day in 1963 to form the World Boxing Council, or the WBC, right? Now, boxing was trying to clean up its public image. That's when a young sensation came along by the name of Cassius Clay. And Cassius Clay started making noise in and out of the ring, right? 22 years old. A few months before changing his name to Muhammad Ali, he beat Sonny Liston. That's going to be our profile next week, Sonny Liston. And he won the WBA and the New York State Athletic and Ring Magazine heavyweight world titles, February 64. And, Ali was incredibly vocal about his opposition to the United States involvement in North Vietnam, right? Remember that? Tiny country over there in Southeast Asia. President Johnson used to call it that pissant country over there in Asia. And in 1967, we know what happened. He was arrested for refusing to follow conscription orders into the army. And they took his license to box, took his titles, revoked his passport. They made sure he didn't fight nowhere. And so we go to the 70s. And the 70s ushered in arguably the best decade for heavyweight division. That's called the golden age of the heavyweight division in the 1970s. Showtime, the guy passed. Salute, Showtime. How are you today? Our friend from St. Louis, Missouri. Showtime, the guy passed. Talk about a short history of boxing in the United States. The profile on Salvador Sanchez ran short because, you know, he only had a 7-year career. He had that fatal car accident when he was 23. So it wasn't a long profile, but it was a good one. It was a very good one. Brought to you by Trump, our own Trump. Okay. Yeah, the 1970s was the golden age of the heavyweight division. Ali came back and he won the North American Boxing Federation NABF heavyweight title in December 1970. That was kind of like a big deal around that time. He beat Oscar Bonavena. His conviction was overturned in 71. In the same year, he suffered his first professional loss to Smoking Joe Frazier. He was attempting to regain the 3 other titles that were stripped from him 4 years ago. And also, remember that great Olympic run the United States had in the 60s? 1960, Muhammad Ali won the gold medal in Rome. Where was Joe Frazier? Joe Frazier won it in 64. Oh, man. Was it Tokyo? I can't remember where Joe Frazier won his at, but Joe Frazier won it in 64. And in 68, Big George Foreman won the gold medal in Mexico City. I think Joe Frazier might have been Tokyo. Bruce Gass, you still out there? Where did Joe Frazier win his gold medal at? If you're still in here, Bruce Gass. I know Bruce Gass knows. I did. I think it might have been Tokyo. Yeah, but we had that great Olympic run in the 60s. Ali in 60 gold. Joe Frazier went gold in 64. Foreman went gold in 68. All 3 ended up fighting each other. All 3 became heavyweight champions. Yeah. Now, Ali did later regain his titles, but not from Joe Frazier. He got them from George Foreman, remember? In the Rumble in the Jungle in 1974. But he ended up losing. But him and Joe Frazier did fight again. They fought 2 more times. In 72, Ali had the NABF, but in 74, Ali had regained his titles from Foreman. Ali won the last 2 fights against Frazier. But in 78, Ali lost them to Leon Spinks. Remember that? A novice with 7 fights. And Spinks gave him the rematch, and Ali beat him in 78, but the titles weren't there then because WBC had stripped Spinks. The WBC had 4 champions in 4 months in 1978. Okay. Ali was champion, and then Spinks beat him. Spinks was stripped by the WBC because he was supposed to fight Norton, which was his mandatory. So Norton was the 3rd one the WBC awarded the belts to him. Then Holmes beat Norton to become the 4th champion in 4 months. That was crazy. Yeah, 4 champions in 4 months. But yeah, like I said, Ali avenged his loss to Spinks in later on in that same year, 78. And then he retired in 1981. He fought 2 more times, Holmes and Trevor Berbick. Prime Ali would dominate either one of them, but it was way past his prime Ali. Then he probably shouldn't even been still boxing. And there were many epic fights between heavyweight greats in the 70s, such as all these guys mixed it up. Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Floyd Patterson, Ken Norton, Leon Spinks, and Chuck Webner. And Chuck Webner was the inspiration behind the Rocky movie franchise, remember? First released in 1976. And this story, Sylvester Stallone, remember Ernie Shavers was this hard-hitting heavyweight where everybody say he was the hardest hitting heavyweight back then. So Sylvester Stallone was making the first Rocky. And he was going to give Ernie Shavers a part as one of the sparring partners of fighters in the movie. And him and Ernie Shavers were in sparring practicing for the role. And Ernie was taking it easy on Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone said, "Come on, Ernie, show me something, man." And Ernie Shavers hit him in the side. Ernie Shavers didn't get that part. That was it. Ernie had to go after that. But Sylvester Stallone showed him to show him something. He said he didn't even want to practice acting, taking punches from Ernie Shavers. Hell no. Now, George Foreman, he first retired in 1977 at 28 years old after losing to Jimmy Young. And then he didn't compete again until 1987, 10 years. But he did come back and win a title again. He's the oldest heavyweight champion ever. Okay. Bernard Hopkins is the oldest champion in boxing, but George Foreman is the oldest heavyweight. Yep. Now, boxing, 28, 2 away from 30. 2 away from 30. Miss Cass, you hit that like button? Yeah, she hit it because I hit it for her. Boxing in the 1980s. After Muhammad Ali's retirement, the sport was devoid of exciting and bombastic figures to draw a crowd. The heavyweight division frequently rotated title holders until an undefeated knockout artist named Mike Tyson defeated champion Trevor Berbick. Now, in the second round, Berbick looked scared, like he'd rather be anywhere else than standing right there across from Mike Tyson. From the beginning of the stare down, as the referee was going over the rules, before the starting bell rang, Berbick looked scared. And he ended up just trying to survive. 6 minutes of brutal power from Tyson. And also the Four Kings came along in the 80s. That helped a lot after Ali retired. You know, the Four Kings, and I'm a Four Kings expert, by the way. But yeah, it helped to keep boxing alive in the 80s too, the Four Kings and Mike. Now Mike, when he fought Berbick, he was 28-0 with 26 knockouts, okay? And he landed a signature left hook, left Berbick unable to gain his equilibrium. He fell down twice while trying to stand back up. And the referee said, that's it, man. You can't even stand up. That was it. And the boxing world had a new king for the rest of the decade. And Tyson soon became an international sensation. Yep. Cus D'Amato had still been around. It wouldn't have went nothing like it went. He wouldn't even been at that beauty contest, you know. Buster Douglas would have never beat him. No way. Buster Douglas would have been another one of his 1 or 2 round knockouts if Cus had been there. But he wasn't. And, you know, it is what it is. Boxing in the 1990s. Okay? That I was just talking about. The 1990s began with one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Not just boxing, sports history, period, right? Buster Douglas was supposed to be a tune-up for Tyson getting ready for Holyfield, but somebody didn't send Buster the memo. Buster didn't know he was supposed to be a tune-up, so he went in there and beat Tyson, okay? Sent a shockwave through the sports world. Buster was a 42-1 underdog in that fight. And he didn't just beat Tyson, he stopped him. Now, Don King and all of them tried to say that Tyson had knocked Buster down previously to Buster stopping him, and they say Buster got a long count and Mike got a short count, but nothing ever came out of it. Yeah. And then 2 years later, Tyson ended up in a courtroom and got 6 years in prison for rape. But why would a woman go just meet a man for the first time in her life and go to his hotel room 2 o'clock in the morning? What did she think they was going up there for? Watch Johnny Carson? What? It's crazy, man. That was crazy. But Mike ended up getting 6 years. He served less than 3, okay, before they let him go. Yeah, Melanie Queen 27 says, I agree with you, Cass. Mike lost a part of himself when Cus passed. He sure did. A big part, Queen, a big part. Yes, that's a very true statement there, yeah. And but he got out. He did less than 3 years, and he came out with tattoos of Mao Zedong, Che Guevara, and tennis player Arthur Ashe. That added even more to the public's confusion. But he did he became champion again. He got the WBC title in March 1996, but he lost it to Holyfield. And they fought again. That was the bite fight, remember? Mike not only bit Holyfield, he bit off a part of it. But how did Holyfield stand there that long? He was standing there chewing on. Why didn't Holyfield move? He stood there and let the man chew his ear off. Couldn't he feel it? That's crazy. Yeah. But after that, the only other title shot Mike received was in 2002 against Lennox. And Lennox got him out of there in the 8th round. But intense rivalries developed in the heavyweight division between Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. They fought 3 times. Bowe beat him 2 out of 3, and Bowe was winning the second fight, but that was the Fan Man fight. Remember I showed y'all the Fan Man coming in? Some guy came in the ring on some kind of contraption, came into the place, and they landed right in the ring. And then security people beat his butt too. Fan Man took the worst beating that night. But yeah, Evander and Riddick both fought 3 times. Evander and Lennox Lewis, who were all champions at some point in the decade. We never got to see Bowe and Lewis. We saw them in the Olympics as amateurs when Lewis got the gold medal and Bowe got silver second place. But in the pros, first Bowe tried to offer Lennox Lewis a 90-10 split. Where did they do that at? That was one of those negotiations where you didn't want to fight. And you gave a guy an offer that you know he was going to refuse. 90-10. Then, remember, Bowe threw the belt in the trash. So he didn't want to fight Lennox. We never saw that. But it was a pretty good fight in the Olympics. And, you know, at the time in the pros, both were going good. That would have been a great fight, but we never got it. One of them ones we never got. And, yeah, Lennox unified the heavyweight division just a few months before the new millennium began. And then from 2000 on up to now, you know, Manny ruled the 2000 to 2010. He was the fighter of that decade. Yeah, Manny ran through that decade like crazy. Yeah. And then Floyd Mayweather. We wanted Floyd and Manny in 2009. Manny against Pretty Boy, but we got Manny against Money May in 2015. So I think Floyd wins whenever they would have fought. Yeah. Skills pay the bills, right? And, you know, now we got that monster at 135, the face of boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis. 135 is on fire. So is 140. And 175 is getting good too. You know, we got a big disappointment when we didn't get the Bivol Beterbiev fight, but it's still scheduled. So, you know, but boxing is in great shape. And we can safely say that 24 is going to be better than 23. From what we've had already, what we got coming. Just look at that August 3rd card, man. Full of main events. Bud Crawford, Virgil and Tim Tszyu, Pitbull and Rayo. And we got a good one coming up from the press conference today. Boots and Cody Crowley. We got Lomachenko, the Matrix tomorrow. High-tech Lomachenko against low-tech Kambosos. Kambosos wasn't even supposed to be in that fight because he got watched by Max Hughes, remember? Yeah. I wish the GOAT would stop calling out these men. It's disrespectful, man. Now, if a man went in there and decked her and put her lights out, he would get crucified by the media and the public. Some guy dropped her last year, though. But she called Ryan. If Ryan caught her with that left hook he was catching Devin with, it would probably end her career. She would be seriously injured. You know, so the GOAT needs to stop it. He needs to stop. It's disrespectful, man. You know. I wouldn't want to see her in there with no Ryan Garcia. Because he's going to land that left hook on her. Okay, and it's going to hurt her. You know. And I want to see the GOAT fight some more women. Okay. But you know, she keep running them out. Some man should just go ahead and put her lights out. End the nonsense. But we got the boys coming up in about 10 minutes. I'll be back Monday with the panel discussion show. And y'all heard the new Happy Friday, Melanie. Oh, shoot. I done blocked somebody. Oh, shoot. Who did I block? Damn. Oh, that was the one I wanted to block. Yeah, I did 2 of them. One guy wanted to said stop the narrative I was on. I was saying Joe Louis was used as a propaganda tool during World War II to get people to join the military, which is true. I've seen it in black and white. Then the other guy said, send him the receipts. I block him. Go get the receipt from the other guy. Both of y'all out there in the block land together. You know, I've seen it in black and white. Yeah. Anything I see on here has been researched and verified, okay? But you know, you got those trolls that go around. When you block them out of one name, they come back under another one the next day. But they just get blocked again. Okay, it only take one comment for me to block you. Okay. But it's the weekend. We got Lomachenko tomorrow. I appreciate everybody rocking with me today. I hope I didn't block nobody by accident. If I did, let me know. I ain't trying to block none of my main people. No. He says, I can't wait to be one. Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you, G-Man Pickle. This is the first time I've seen you, G-Man Pickle. You said you've been here for a long time? Oh, G-Man Pickle. Yeah, come back a few more times, G-Man Pickle. Oh, shoot, Jay Hardcore. Why you don't have a wrench, Jay? Damn, now you do. Oh, that's who I blocked. I did it again, Jay. I can't block you again. Damn, why I keep doing that? But you are back, Jay. I'm sorry. You're back, Jay. Damn. Crazy. Okay. Okay, I'm getting ready to put another cast sports in the history books. Yeah, come back a few more times, G-Man Pickle. You'll get a wrench. Okay. Put some comments in the chat and stuff. I promise. Quentin, what's up, Quentin? I didn't see you come in either. Salute to Quentin in the building. I should have 30 likes by now. 29. Come on, can we get one more like before I go? One more like. Somebody go out. Somebody walking past, holler, tell them come in and hit the like for you or something. I want to see 30 so bad. Salute to Quentin, though. Appreciate you, Quentin. 29 likes. We got 6 minutes to get one more like. And I'll get it. But okay, today we in the building. We had Quentin. Showtime the guy passed. G-Man Pickle will soon have a wrench. Hardcore boxing news. Hashtag JBT. Jury faints. Hashtag JBT. Lonnie Lee. Hashtag JBT. Flawless mentality. And Black Excellence, hosted by Dr. Mark. Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more. D for the win. Legacy defined. Mike Grimm. I bet you both of those guys here, and I bet you neither one of them hit the like button. I guarantee you they didn't. Just trolls. I guarantee you they didn't hit the like button. Mike Grimm, Thomas Morris, Coach Thomas Morris, E-Class, Al Booger, Mike Masick. Where's Let's Talk Fashion today? Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Trump, who today's profile on Salvador Sanchez was brought to you by Trump. Not Trump, Trump. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, the Vice President of Cass Sports, and the brains behind the operation. Because y'all already know it ain't me. I'm just the brawn, okay? We got The Voice coming up next. I don't know if it's a Friday night hangout because Jay had said he was going to take a couple of days off. Are you doing the Friday night hangout tonight, Jay? Put it in the chat. You're gonna have to get a t-shirt on, put it in the chat. Is there a Friday night hangout tonight, Jay? I know you had said you was gonna take a few days off in the evening show. So I'm not sure about that. But I know we still got, I'm not sure, Quentin. Is Floyd still in Dubai, anybody? Oh, 30, Lonnie? Okay, thank you. We made it. Yeah, let me check again. Yeah, we do. Oh, 31. Ooh, 31. My record is 33. 2 more. Well, I'm going to let y'all go. I was going to say 2 more tie the record, but we'll get it another day. But no, I'm not sure, Quentin. Is Floyd still in Dubai? I had to check on that. Yeah, I got 31, Queen. I got 31. Yeah. Okay. But I don't know. I know Jay Hardcore said he must be gone. He said he was going to take a couple of days off. So I'm not sure about the Friday night hangout. I know we got The Voice coming up next in a couple of minutes. And we got, there's William Old School of Rant. There's 32. You hit that like, Old School? That must have been my 31. What's up, Old School? Appreciate you, Old School. Almost at the record. No hangout all week. Thank you, Lonnie. No Friday night hangout. Okay. But we got Just Do Boxing coming up, and we got the Rides podcast at 9. And turn your notifications on for Casual's Corner at McQueen and be in boxing news because they pop up at any time. So we might get one of them tonight. I always say the Rides podcast closed the day down for the JBT, but not necessarily. We might get a Casual's Corner or be in boxing news at any time. Okay? So turn your notifications on. Hit all because you want all those fire shows. Okay? And we're gonna go over here and see what the Voice building on today. I know it's something good. But I appreciate everybody for rocking with me once again. And everybody have a great day and a great weekend. But you ain't rid of me because you're gonna see me in Just Do Rise later on tonight. But salute Old School. Climb down from 90 feet. Wow, I'm glad you're down. Have a good day, Old School. Everybody have a good day and a good weekend. This is Cat Sports. I'll see y'all Monday at 2 on the JBT panel discussion. The entire show is all talk. Stop by for that. Everybody have a great one. Cat Sports.